The House Judiciary Committee hearing room buzzed with anticipation on a crisp Washington morning in late 2025. Television cameras lined the walls, their red lights blinking like the eyes of a predatory beast. Reporters scribbled notes, and aides whispered urgently as the gavel struck, signaling the start of a session that would soon ignite a national firestorm. At the center of it all sat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a Democrat from Texas's 30th District, her piercing gaze fixed on the witness before her, Attorney General Pam Bondi. Crockett, a former civil rights attorney known for her blunt style and fiery rhetoric, had built a reputation as a fearless advocate for justice. Her curly hair framed a face radiating determination, and her tailored navy suit conveyed authority. Across from her, Bondi, a seasoned Republican and former Florida Attorney General, sat composed, her blonde hair perfectly styled, her expression unreadable. The hearing, ostensibly about Justice Department oversight, had veered into a battleground over allegations of favoritism toward billionaire Elon Musk and unresolved questions about the January 6th Capitol riot investigations. Attorney General Bondi, Crockett began, her voice cutting through the room like a blade. How dare the Justice Department shield a billionaire like Elon Musk while ignoring the cries for justice from the American people? Your refusal to investigate SpaceX and Tesla's government contracts reeks of corruption. Resign, or I'll sue you for abusing your power. The room froze. Bondi's eyes narrowed, but her voice remained icy calm. Representative Crockett, you should be careful with slanderous words. My actions are within my constitutional duties, and I won't be intimidated by baseless threats. The exchange, broadcast live to millions, exploded across social media. Crockett's supporters hailed her as a warrior against corruption, flooding X with hashtags like Naughty Crockett Fights and Chatu Justice for All. Progressive outlets like MSNBC praised her as the voice of a new generation, while Fox News dismissed her as an attention-seeking rabble-rouser. The hearing room's electric atmosphere lingered long after the gavel fell, setting the stage for a political war neither woman could have fully anticipated. Back in her modest Capitol Hill office, Crockett's adrenaline still surged. She leaned against her desk, a confident smile flickering as she addressed her inner circle. Marcus Tate, a sharp young legal advisor with a background in civil rights cases, sat scribbling notes. Leah Johnson, her communications director and a veteran of activist campaigns, scrolled through X on her phone, tracking the viral spread of Crockett's remarks. "We can't back down," Crockett said, her voice steely. "Bondi's protecting Trump's allies and Musk's empire. She's part of a cabal defying the rule of law. We need to expose her, now." Marcus nodded, his brow furrowed. "I'll draft a legal letter demanding her resignation or an apology. We can accuse her of obstructing Capitol riot probes and favoritism in government contracts. It'll put her on the defensive." Leah's eyes gleamed. "I'll leak it to CNN and the Washington Post the moment it's sent. Jasmine, you should go on MSNBC tonight. Strike while the iron's hot." The plan was set. Marcus crafted a 15-page letter, meticulously outlining accusations of abuse of power, obstruction of justice, and conflicts of interest tied to Musk's companies. It demanded Bondi resign within 7 days or face a civil lawsuit on behalf of the American people. Leah ensured the letter reached major newsrooms, and by evening, Crockett was in an MSNBC studio, her red blazer striking against the blue backdrop. "The people deserve to know where their tax dollars are going," she declared, her voice rising with passion. "Pam Bondi thinks she can hide the truth, but I'm here to expose her." The interview went viral, shared thousands of times on X. Supporters called her a firebrand of justice, while critics, especially on conservative platforms, labeled her a fame chaser bent on chaos. A Fox News pundit sneered, "Crockett's playing a dangerous game with no evidence." But Crockett felt invincible, buoyed by the roar of her base and the media spotlight. In the Justice Department's imposing headquarters, Pam Bondi received Crockett's letter with a faint smile. A battle-hardened Republican and longtime Trump ally, she had weathered countless political storms. She forwarded the document to Elizabeth Harper, her personal attorney and a former prosecutor known for her ruthless precision. "Elizabeth," Bondi said over a secure line, her voice calm but edged with steel, "I want her to regret this." Harper, a woman with a razor-sharp gaze and 20 years of legal experience, nodded from her sleek law office. She saw Crockett's letter not as a threat, but as an opportunity to crush a rising political rival. Assembling an elite legal team, Harper launched a relentless investigation into Crockett's public records, campaign finances, and communications. Within 48 hours, the team struck gold. An internal email from Marcus Tate, inadvertently sent to a journalist, revealed Crockett's strategy. "We need to amplify the Bondi story to grab young voters. Don't worry if the accusations aren't airtight. The media will run with it." Harper's lips curled into a cold smile. This was proof of deliberate exaggeration for political gain. A fatal misstep. Next, Harper uncovered a financial report showing Crockett had accepted $50,000 from Green Justice, an activist group linked to the Tesla takedown movement, which was under FBI scrutiny for vandalizing Tesla charging stations. Crockett's public support for the group in speeches raised questions about transparency and potential campaign finance violations. Finally, Harper flagged Crockett's hearing remarks. "Bondi and her cronies are undermining democracy," as potentially inflammatory, possibly violating House ethics rules. Harper began drafting a 50-page response letter, a legal masterpiece designed to dismantle Crockett's credibility. Divided into 3 parts, it first defended Bondi's actions under the Speech and Debate Clause, asserting her immunity from lawsuits as a federal official. The second part exposed Crockett's missteps with irrefutable evidence. Tate's email, the Green Justice funding, and her ethics-violating statements. The third part delivered the knockout blow, accusing Crockett of violating 18 U.S.C. Section 1005 by obstructing Justice Department operations with baseless claims, a potential criminal offense. "We demand Representative Crockett retract her accusations and apologize publicly within 48 hours," Harper wrote, "or face legal and congressional consequences." Harper timed the letter's release for maximum impact, leaking it to Fox News on a Friday evening, when newsrooms were hungry for weekend content. She also briefed Bondi's Capitol Hill allies, ensuring a coordinated media blitz. Bondi, preparing for a Florida event, praised Harper's strategy. "Let her bury herself," she said coolly. The letter detonated like a bomb. Fox News broke the story at 8 p.m. with a headline screaming, "Bondi's attorney shreds Crockett's accusations with damning evidence." The host called it a legal knockout, and Bondi, appearing remotely, radiated confidence. Representative Crockett picked the wrong fight, she said. I'm just doing my job. But she turned it into a political circus. In Dallas, Crockett was dining with constituents when Laya's call shattered the evening. Jasmine, Fox News is tearing us apart. Crockett's heart pounded as she skimmed the letter's summary on her phone. How did they get Marcus's email? She muttered, her confidence crumbling. Desperate to regain control, Crockett agreed to an MSNBC appearance the next morning. In the studio, she tried to project defiance. This is a political attack from Bondi and Trump's cronies, she said, her voice wavering. They're smearing me because I dared speak truth to power. But the audience wasn't convinced. Tate's email and the Green Justice funding had muddied her narrative. An MSNBC commentator noted, Crockett needs evidence, not passion. CNN's neutral analysis called Harper's letter a legal masterpiece, with a Georgetown law professor praising its strategic brilliance. Harper turned Crockett's accusations into a boomerang, he said. The clip went viral, amplifying the pressure. Crockett's Dallas office was flooded with angry calls, and her approval rating in local polls plummeted to 42%, a career low. On X, the narrative spiraled out of Crockett's control. A viral video spliced her hearing footage with a mocking voiceover. I'm gonna sue. Oh, wait, I just shot myself in the foot. It racked up millions of views, turning Crockett into a punchline. Her supporters tried to rally, but they were drowned out by a wave of criticism. The House Ethics Committee's announcement was the death knell. Prompted by Harper's complaint and a filing from Citizens for Ethics, it opened an investigation into Crockett's campaign funds and inflammatory statements. The committee chair, a Republican, vowed a thorough review to uphold congressional integrity. Harper intensified the assault, submitting a memo to the Justice Department suggesting Crockett's actions violated 18 U.S.C. Section 1005. A move that hinted at possible criminal charges. Bondi, meanwhile, leveraged her victory. On a conservative radio show, she declared, I'm not afraid of threats. The American people deserve a transparent Justice Department, not one manipulated by opportunists. Republicans cheered, and even moderates began siding with her, impressed by her composure and evidence. Crockett's team was unraveling. Marcus, guilt-ridden over the email, suggested hiring a new attorney, Angela Brooks, a veteran of political scandals. Laya pushed for a press conference to shift the narrative back to Musk's contracts, but another leaked email, this time from Laya herself, sealed their fate. Published by Breitbart, it revealed the team knew their accusations lacked evidence, but pressed on to appeal to voters' emotions. The public turned against Crockett completely. In a stifling Capitol Hill meeting, Brooks delivered a stark assessment. Harper's evidence is overwhelming, she said. Our only option is damage control, an apology letter to Bondi. Crockett, her eyes vacant, resisted. I can't surrender, she whispered, but her voice lacked conviction. Alone in her Dallas office, Crockett faced the wreckage of her ambition. The memes, the angry emails, the looming investigations. She had lost everything. Brooks drafted a 2-page apology letter, carefully worded to retain some dignity. I acknowledge that my accusations lacked sufficient evidence. I apologize for the unintended impact on Attorney General Bondi and the Justice Department's work. I hope for a reconciliatory resolution. The letter was sent to Bondi's office and posted online, but the public showed no mercy. Bondi, reading it during a meeting, smirked. "She thinks this erases everything," she told Harper. "We don't need to forgive. She's finished." Bondi declined to respond, her silence a final rebuke. At a press conference, Crockett faced a sparse crowd of reporters. "I made mistakes," she said, her voice breaking. "I want to serve Texas and rebuild trust." A local reporter's question, "Will you resign if the Ethics Committee demands it?" left her speechless. The image of her leaving, head bowed, became a symbol of her defeat. The clash between Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and Attorney General Pam Bondi, ignited in the charged atmosphere of a House Judiciary Committee hearing room, culminated in a political rout that reverberated across Washington and beyond. What began as a bold accusation of corruption, hurled by Crockett with the confidence of a rising star, ended in her public humiliation and near-total professional collapse. Bondi, backed by the surgical precision of her attorney Elizabeth Harper, emerged not just unscathed, but stronger, her position as Attorney General cemented in the eyes of allies and adversaries alike. Her message was unmistakable. No one could challenge her authority without paying a steep price. For Crockett, the aftermath was brutal. Once celebrated as a fiery advocate for justice, the Texas Democrat now faced a grueling House Ethics Committee investigation into her campaign finances and inflammatory rhetoric. The committee's probe, spurred by Harper's damning evidence and a complaint from the watchdog group Citizens for Ethics, focused on her $50,000 donation from Green Justice, a group tied to vandalism, and her hearing room accusations against Bondi, deemed potentially unethical. Worse still, whispers of a Justice Department inquiry under 18 U.S.C. Section 1505 for obstructing federal operations with baseless claims loomed like a guillotine over her career. Her approval ratings in Texas plummeted to a career-low 42%, and constituents who once cheered her boldness now demanded accountability. Her Dallas office, once a hub of energy, was besieged by angry calls and emails, some calling for her resignation. The saga laid bare America's polarized landscape, where every word, post, or email could become a weapon in the unrelenting arena of public opinion. Social media, particularly platforms like X, amplified the drama with ruthless efficiency. Viral memes mocked Crockett's downfall, one splicing her MSNBC interview with a caption, "When you swing at a giant and miss." Another, viewed millions of times, showed her leaving the press conference, head bowed, with the tagline, "Crockett lies, career dies." Her supporters, once vocal, grew quiet, overwhelmed by the deluge of criticism. Even progressive allies, like Congressman Jamie Raskin, distanced themselves, wary of the scandal's fallout. The leaked emails from her team, first Marcus Tate's admission of exaggerating claims, then Leah Johnson's confession of leaning on voter emotions, proved catastrophic, exposing a campaign driven more by ambition than evidence. This digital carelessness was Crockett's undoing. In an era where every communication could be hacked, leaked, or weaponized, her team's failure to secure their emails was a fatal misstep. The Washington Post and Breitbart, fed by anonymous sources, turned private correspondence into public indictments. The lesson was stark. In the digital age, nothing stays hidden, and reckless rhetoric carries a heavy cost. Crockett's accusations against Bondi, lacking the concrete evidence to withstand Harper's counterattack, became a case study in overreaching. Her bold gamble to sue the Attorney General, intended to rally her base and cement her status as a progressive hero, instead left her isolated, her reputation in tatters. Bondi, by contrast, played the long game with masterful restraint. Her refusal to engage directly with Crockett's apology letter, leaving it unanswered in a silence that spoke volumes, was a calculated move to let the Congresswoman's wounds fester. On Fox News, Bondi projected calm authority, declaring, "The truth always prevails. My focus is on serving the American people, not playing political games." Her words resonated not just with Republicans, but with moderates who admired her composure under fire. At a Florida conference, she announced new oversight measures targeting groups like Green Justice, framing herself as a defender of law and order. Republican senators rallied behind her, one posting on X, "Bondi stands tall while Crockett crumbles. This is leadership." Her victory was not just personal, but strategic, weakening progressive movements tied to Crockett and reinforcing her dominance in a polarized political arena. The broader implications of the clash were profound. It underscored the fragility of political careers in a hyper-connected, hyper-scrutinized world. Social media's power to shape narratives through hashtags, viral videos, and instant outrage turned a single hearing into a national spectacle. The saga highlighted the importance of evidence in public accusations, particularly when challenging entrenched power. Crockett's failure to substantiate her claims against Bondi, coupled with her team's digital sloppiness, served as a cautionary tale for aspiring leaders. Preparation and truth are non-negotiable in a fight against power. Her downfall echoed historical examples, from McCarthy's reckless anti-communist crusades to modern politicians felled by unforced errors in the digital spotlight. In her dimly lit Dallas office, Crockett sat alone, the glow of her phone casting shadows across her weary face. The venomous comments on X, "She thought she was untouchable. Now look at her," cut deeper than she'd admit. Her apology letter, a last-ditch effort to salvage her career, had been met with scorn. Bondi's silence, coupled with Harper's relentless legal pressure, left no room for recovery. The Ethics Committee's investigation threatened suspension, and the specter of criminal scrutiny hung heavy. Yet, amidst the wreckage, Crockett clung to a faint spark of defiance. "I won't give up," she whispered, her voice barely audible. But the road to redemption would be grueling, paved with public skepticism and her own regrets. As Washington's neon lights flickered against the night sky, the city moved on, its relentless pulse indifferent to one woman's fall. The Crockett-Bondi clash would be remembered as a brutal lesson in the stakes of political ambition. In a nation divided by ideology and amplified by technology, the line between hero and pariah was razor-thin. For Crockett, the fight had been a gamble on glory. For Bondi, it was a masterclass in power. The story's echo lingered, a warning to all who dared to play the game without a shield of truth.